Rams have something in common after week 2 of the NFL preseason. Both teams aren't sure if they have the right guy as a backup quarterback. In the Chargers' 5-point loss Sunday to New Orleans, Easton Stick played the entire game in place of Justin Herbert. He threw 2 interceptions and lost a fumble. Stetson Bennett got most of the snaps Saturday night against the Raiders in place of Matthew Stafford. Bennett threw an interception that was returned 50 yards for a touchdown. The Chargers and Rams have 2 more weeks of practice and 1 more exhibition game to figure out their backup situation. Lakers guard Austin Reeves scored 16 points off the bench Sunday to help USA Basketball beat Germany by 9. The U.S. team went 5-0 in FIBA World Cup exhibitions. First real game for the U.S. in the FIBA World Cup is Saturday versus New Zealand. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's program, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit TheTavisSmileyShow.com. That's TheTavisSmileyShow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley Show podcast at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, 2 conversations. Up first, a dialogue about the potential negative impacts of the proposed FDA ban on menthol cigarettes. Sonia Pruitt, founder of the Black Police Experience and former chair of the National Black Police Association, has some grave concerns about the unintended consequences of this effort by the Biden administration to ostensibly save the lives of black smokers. We'll talk to Sonia Pruitt about all that at the top of hour 2. On the B side of hour 2, we'll talk trending political topics with SiriusXM host Shermichael Singleton. In our third hour,
hello, thank you everybody for coming. I'm Amanda Seals. I brought you all here to make a major announcement.
Are you going back to the Real?
No, it got canceled. What are you talking about?
You pregnant too?
What? That is rude. But everybody is pregnant, right? That's crazy.
So who's the father?
Derek Dubois. That's the father. You happy?
Is that really your hair? Are you biracial?
No, I'm not biracial. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I'm not. Clearly, there's massa up in here, but my parents are both black.
You starting a podcast?
I've had a podcast for 5 years. Small doses. Check it out. You?
Do you still hate black men?
I have never hated black men. I just am not a fan of niggas.
Have you changed your stance on passports?
No, wow. Y'all bringing up shit. No, I still think if you have money for Jordans and tracksuits and you are not in possession of a passport, you're losing. Especially if you live in Florida. Get out of there.
Is your mother white?
You're joking, right? Okay, reclaiming my time. I always want to do that. I came here to tell y'all this. 87 pandemic years ago, we the people, in order to have a dream, used to read Word Up magazine.
Girl, what are you trying to say?
Okay, I was trying to be presidential. Really what I'm trying to say is, I came here today to announce that after 4 years, I've decided to drop a political comedy documentary.
Oh, man. Whoa. That's it?
Yes, that's it. What you doing? You ain't here in the middle of the day. You don't got a job? Look out for In Amanda We Trust coming soon.
Is it going to be on HBO?
No, it is not going to be on HBO. They said they don't have room. So I did it myself because I didn't want to wait for nobody. You feel me? Yes, that insecure money is being put to good use. Black women doing things. So y'all going to have my back, right? Because I got a mortgage. You're going to help me seals the deal.
Seals the deal. That's the trailer for In Amanda We Trust. Actress, producer, writer, syndicated radio host, and comedian Amanda Seales joins us to talk about her new political comedy documentary, In Amanda We Trust. We'll do that in hour 3 today. Should be a fun third hour today when Amanda Seales joins us here on Tavis Smiley. We commence today's show, though, in conversation with an old friend who has a new job. Well, I don't mean to call him old. He's an old friend. He's not old. An old friend who has a new job. The Right Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III is the new president and CEO of the Rainbow Push Coalition, founded, of course, by the iconic Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. Dr. Haynes has long been the prophetic pastor and visionary leader of the Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas, and I am pleased to welcome him to this studio and to this program. My friend, Freddie Haynes, how are you, sir?
Tavis Smiley, I'm just honored to be here. I thank God for you. I thank God for your standing in the tradition of Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells, using your journalistic integrity to continue to force us to have conversations about liberating and empowering us. And so to be here today is a great honor. And again, to stand on the shoulders of the heroic icon of Jesse Jackson, it means so much. So thank you very much.
No, it's my honor to have you here, and I'm looking forward to this hour. This conversation is going to be rich. I was in Chicago a few weeks ago on your first Saturday.
Yeah.
For so many years, Reverend has done the Saturday program.
Right.
And those in Chicago know it well. And whenever I'm in Chicago, I always make it a point to swing by there and sometimes surprise him when I'm in town.
And you did.
Yeah. He didn't know I was in town that day. So I popped in to see him knowing that you were going to be there.
Okay.
The word was out that you were, taking over that particular Saturday and you were going to be the main speaker at the broadcast. I said, let me pop over there and see my friend Dr. Haynes and Reverend Jackson. And it was great to see the two of you. And you told me you were going to be in L.A. And I said, when you're in L.A., please come by the studio and let's have a conversation. So here he is. Dr. Frederick Haynes is in studio. And I look forward to this hour. It's going to be a rich dialogue about his now leading the Rainbow Push Coalition, what it means to take over from the iconic Jesse Jackson. I want to talk about Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
He's at that point now. We're all going to get there where we end up doing that dance with mortality.
Yeah.
As you know, you've funeralized many.
Man.
Ain't but one way out of here, right?
Yeah.
And so we're all going to end up doing that dance with mortality. But this moment is causing, and I think it's a good thing, a lot of us to reconsider the legacy of one Jesse Jackson. We'll talk about that and a great deal more as we move through this hour. Our guest is Dr. Frederick Haynes III, the new president and CEO of the Rainbow Push Coalition, live right now on Tavis Smiley.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What does access mean?
Access means owning a home. Access means growing my business.
Access means building generational wealth.
No matter your goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Programs and initiatives provide the tools and resources to help you reach them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, life doesn't stop when cancer starts. After diagnosis, treatment is vital. But for some, just getting there, to appointments, chemo, or radiation, is a major challenge. You can change that. Volunteer to give rides with the American Cancer Society Road to Recovery program. Driving for a few hours of your day can make a life-saving difference for someone with cancer. Visit cancer.org/drive to learn more.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and it's powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
When it comes to special needs educational and health resources, Special Needs Network has you covered. On Saturday, August 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jane Addams Park in Lawndale, Special Needs Network and California Assemblywoman Tina McKinnon invite you and your entire family for a fun-filled day at a back-to-school and health fair. Featuring music, live performances, exhibitions from your favorite professional LA sports teams, a petting zoo, pony rides, a kids zone, and professional haircuts for kids and teens. Get critical early identification and intervention resources, health and dental screenings, bags of fresh fruits and vegetables, and an opportunity to win fantastic prizes, free backpacks and school supplies while they last for students, and a chance to win a free cell phone or tablet from TrueConnect with an EBT card. Visit snnla.org or on Facebook or Instagram at Special Needs Network.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
And I'm glad about it. Our guest in this first hour today is Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. He is the new CEO and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition. I said moments ago that I want to spend part of this hour reassessing the legacy of one Jesse Jackson. I don't know what it is about us, Freddie Haynes. I call you Freddie Haynes when we talk privately. I should call you Dr. Haynes since we're on the air, man. Giving you your respect. He is Dr. Haynes. He's Pastor Haynes. He's my friend, though, and I just call him Freddie Haynes when it's the two of us. So forgive me for that. I'll try to do better at that throughout this hour.
Man, 30 years, bro.
30 years. We've been friends a long time,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Yeah, and I appreciate every day of that friendship, brother, that brotherhood. But I don't know what it is about us as a people or as a nation, but oftentimes we don't really get around to appreciating the rich legacies of iconic fellow citizens until we see them doing that dance with mortality.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to Ali.
Oh, yeah.
The whole nation rethought Ali. The whole world rethought Ali. When he had Parkinson's and he's shaking and he couldn't speak and he's lighting the torch. And then all of a sudden we fall in love again with Muhammad Ali.
Right.
So it happens to the best of our people when they get to that moment that we start rethinking their legacy. I want to get to that in a moment here, but let me just start by asking how Reverend Jackson convinced you.
That's a good one.
How did he convince you? Because let me just say this. There was a position years ago, a major national position years ago, that people came to me to ask me what I consider doing. And I thought about it. I didn't want to just, poo-poo it. So I thought about it. And I decided I didn't want to do it because that position had so many iconic people in it. And the board of this organization had 64 members.
Hallelujah.
I ain't calling no names. The national board. And I'm like, I don't want to wrestle with 64 Negroes every day trying to run a national organization.
Yeah.
And the person who had just stepped aside was iconic in his own right, and I wasn't sure at that age that I could do what I wanted to do or needed to do to take that organization to another level.
Real talk.
And so I passed on the opportunity to be considered as the finalist to run that organization. And I've never said that publicly until now.
Wow.
So I have some sense of what it's like when somebody of Jesse's stature comes to you and says, okay, you know what I've done, but I have to step off the scene at some point, and I'm asking you to consider running Rainbow Push. How did he convince you to do it?
Wow, that is the question of the year.
Yeah.
This conversation began about 5 years ago. With his family, it began 7 or 8 years ago. I was speaking for him one Saturday morning, and Mrs. Jackson, as well as Jonathan, Jesse Jr. then called me, and they said, you really need to pray about succeeding Dad, succeeding my husband. And so I laughed and said, y'all playing, and, you all keep on doing what you're doing. God bless you. And then, ironically, at the 2019 NAACP convention, NAACP, they have 64 board members.
Yeah, you said that. I did not say that. You said that.
And but at that convention, I was speaking, and Reverend Jackson was there, and he said, "I want to speak to you afterwards." I said, "Okay," and so he said, "It's time for you to take over Rainbow Push." I said, "Take over Rainbow Push?" I said, "So what are you going to do?" And so he said, "I'm going to move to the side." He said, "You need a platform for what it is you're doing." I said, "But you're the president and CEO of Rainbow Push, and that's going to be the case, from now on, henceforth, and forevermore." And so he said, "No, it's time for you to take over." I said, "I didn't know there was a conversation about me taking over Rainbow Push." And so he then brought in some others. We had a series of conversations that week, which led to a series of conversations, I guess, for about a month or two, where I would go back and forth between Dallas and Chicago. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I breathed a sigh of relief because the conversation didn't happen as often. Because in all honesty, first, I could not say no to one of my heroes. Jesse Jackson is without question a hero of mine. He's iconic. He has shaped so much of what I think ministry ought to look like. He has shaped so much of what I think justice ought to look like. And so for him to ask me to succeed him, it was overwhelming. It was crazy. And so when COVID hit, I basically, and I hate to say it, but COVID was my sigh of relief. I was able to basically get him to quit thinking about it because we had other challenges to deal with. And so time went by. But also, to be honest, you know how Reverend is wired. He is wired where if you wake him up at 3 o'clock in the morning, he has some vision, some ideas, some notion of what we ought to be doing to fight for justice. That's just how he's wired. And so at the same time, if we're honest, he wasn't really ready to step aside at the time, but it was on his mind. Giving him credit. You said something to us, Tavis, when you were in Chicago. You said that black organizations, black churches, black institutions do not transition well.
The worst.
We're the worst.
The worst, man.
And so
that's why church is split every week.
Come on, man. And so for him to think about it, being the icon that he is, it said a lot about him. But at the same time, he was not quite ready. And honestly, I wasn't either, because I thought it was a big joke at first. I said, this is an ongoing April Fool's joke, and April 1st and past, I don't know how long ago. And so Then in April of this year, ironically, April of this year, he called me again, and he said, all right, it's time. And then a few others around him called me and said, it's time. Rev's health is in decline. We need to do something so that Rainbow Push can continue. There is no success without succession. And so given that, we had a series of conversations, and the conversations were honest. They were straightforward. They were transparent. And because I wanted to go in with my eyes open, knowing that, this is an icon. This is someone on our Mount Rushmore of leadership, period. Not just Black America, but the world respects Jesse Jackson as a heroic leader who has done so much good. And so the notion of trying to succeed, the Jesse Jackson, is crazy, and so I had to hear from God on this. And as Reverend Jackson said, he wanted me to hear from Jesse and Jesus. And I don't know what order he was wanting me to.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You beat me to it, yeah.
So it's been an ongoing, long conversation, to be honest with you. And he still has, matter of fact, he calls me every day to continue to convince me that this is something I should do. And the announcement was made last month, but he's still trying to convince me that I need to do this.
I watched, though, as I came by the Saturday broadcast when I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, I watched you kill it as you always do. And I'm still telling people about that sermon that day you preached. Keep on flapping, keep on flapping, keep on flapping. I'll let you explain that in a second. The keep on flapping thing. You nailed it that day. And I watched Jesse watching you as you were at that podium.
Yeah.
And obviously you're facing the audience, so you can't see him sitting behind you, looking at you.
Yeah.
But I watched him, and I've known him for years as you've known him.
Yeah.
And I can see the sincerity in his expression. I could see the pride. I could see the feeling that he had made the right decision to make you the man to take over the Rainbow Push Coalition. But I was watching him as much as I was watching you.
Wow.
And my vantage point in the audience allowed me to see both of you. Yeah,
That's right.
I was off to the left over there.
You sure were.
So I could see the two of you. I'm watching you, and I can see him right behind you. But the joy that I could see in his face and in his smile, watching you do what you do, was a beautiful thing to see. So you don't need to hear it from me, but I don't think he regrets at all the decision. He may be still trying to convince you.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think he regrets his decision.
Yeah.
At this point,
well, that means a lot, and because to hear you say that makes me flash back to me watching him in '84 and '88 as he literally transformed the trajectory of American politics, especially for Black folk, setting the stage for one Barack Obama.
Let's just go there. Since you went there, I'm going to follow you. This audience knows, they've heard me say it more than once over the years. There is no Barack Obama if there is no Jesse Jackson. If you've never heard this story, let me tell it to you again right quick in 30 seconds. When Jesse runs in '84, Jesse runs in '88, the Democratic Party had a primary system of winner take all.
Say that.
Winner take all. So if Jesse had gotten 25 or 30% of the vote in California, and Dukakis had gotten 70% of the vote in California, Dukakis took all the votes, took Jesse's delegates. Winner takes all. That was the procedure until Jesse forced the Democratic Party, along with Ron Brown becoming the brother chairman.
That's right.
Jesse and Ron Brown forced a change, but Jesse led this fight to change it from winner take all to proportional voting, because Jesse never got the true delegates that he deserved.
Exactly.
Because it was winner take all and not proportional voting. Jesse forces that change through. If that change is not in place, when Barack and Hillary go head to head, Hillary wins the Democratic nomination.
She wins.
And Barack Obama is not your black president.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And so, in too many instances, we overlook Jesse and his impact because Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson changed the rules of the Democratic Party. And not only that, he's the only candidate to not win the nomination and yet have coattails that resulted in so many black politicians being swept into political offices and offices that were appointed, that were offices of power. Yeah. You have that because of Jesse Jackson. And so it really is almost heartbreaking when we think about 2008 happening and even 2012 happening, and we not give credit to the impact of Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr.
There's no question about the fact that there is no Obama, as we both just said, without Jesse changing those rules in the Democratic Party. At the same time, I'm glad you raised this issue of coattails. You know, I voted for Barack Obama. I've said this many times. I voted for Barack Obama both terms, and people saw my critique of him and thought that I was a hater. I never hated on Barack Obama.
Exactly.
If the choice was Barack Obama, John McCain, and Sarah Palin, are you stupid? Put down the crack pipe. I'm going with Obama and Biden. If the choice is Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, I'm putting down the crack pipe. I'm going with Barack Obama. Ain't no debate about that, fool. Right. I voted for Obama twice, just like you did. That's not the point. The point is, I felt that every president, then and now, has to be held accountable. And folk didn't get it now. Thankfully, over the years, people are starting to get that I was just trying to hold the brother accountable to the best of us and what he said he was going to do. There was never any hate in there. But here's my point, though. Barack Obama never had any coattails.
Thank you.
Let me just pause for a second. Tell me 5, 10, 20 Negroes who got elected because of Barack Obama. You can't do it. Barack Obama, I ain't hating. He never had coattails. When Jesse runs in 84 and 88, check the record. Black folk got elected all across this country because of Jesse's coattails in 84 and 88. He never got the credit for it. To your point, it saddened me. And some of it had to do with that tape. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Right.
The Reverend got caught on tape saying something that was not kind.
Yeah.
But they don't play the whole tape.
The whole tape.
They don't play the whole tape. What he was saying was Barack Obama basically disturbs me because he has a habit of talking down to black people.
Right.
Well, when he gets elected and he goes to Morehouse, what was that speech at Morehouse?
Talking down to black people.
When he goes to Brazier's church in Chicago, what's he doing?
Talking down to black people.
So Barack Obama had take off your house at the Congressional Black Caucus dinner.
Talking down to black people.
Take off your house shoes. He had a bad habit at times. Of talking down to black people. That's what Jesse was saying that disturbed him about Obama. We play one part of the tape, not the other part of the tape. And so Jesse ends up being demeaned, gets dismissed, does not get invited to the White House during those 8 years. He ain't the only one who didn't get invited.
Right,
Let me just tell you what I know. He wasn't the only one who didn't get invited in 8 years. So that happens. But how sad was it for you to watch the ascension of Barack Obama, to see Jesse standing in the park?
Right.
And tears running down his face.
Oh, my God.
This black man gets elected.
Right.
But he never got the respect in 08 or in 12.
Right. It was heartbreaking. And parenthetically, let me just say this, because we as a people have to be mature enough not to make the mistake that we made when Martin King was critiquing the best friend we've ever had, policy-wise.
That's right.
In the White House, Lyndon Baines Johnson, 64 Civil Rights Bill, 65 Voting Rights Bill, 68 Housing Bill. We got that under Lyndon Baines Johnson, but Martin King, as a prophet of truth, said, yes, policy-wise, you've been good, but I can still in love critique your Vietnam War policy. And so what you were doing was in the tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. by basically saying, Mr. Barack Obama, love you, but at the same time, I reserve the right to hold you accountable. Yes, you're talking down to us, and yes, just as you had specific policies that blessed certain communities, the LGBTQIA community, they can point to what they got from Barack Obama. What can we point to?
That's what I was trying to do. I appreciate that somebody understands that. A lot more to talk about regarding the legacy of one Jesse Jackson and what Frederick Haynes is going to do now. Dr. Haynes, as the leader of President and CEO, specifically of Rainbow Push Coalition. A great deal more to talk about when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Close to 850 people are believed to be missing in Lahaina. The number was recently believed to be as high as 2,000. Hawaii Governor Josh Green says the areas that have yet to be searched include large buildings where remains might be more difficult to recover. Tropical Storm Hilary is now a post-tropical cyclone, bringing heavy rainfall to the southwest. The storm system is on the move several hundred miles north of San Diego, California. New Orleans Saints tight end, African-American Jimmy Graham, is recovering after he was taken into custody following what the team called a medical episode. Police officers thought Graham was under the influence following a call about a man behaving strangely near a Southern California resort Friday night. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Monday Drive is busy. Alhambra, it's going to be flooding on that 10 west. The 710 north and south transitions off limits here with a busy drive from Fremont. Highland Park, it's a wreck on the 110 south at York, Pasadena. Right lane blocked. You're loaded up from Orange Grove. The 110 south at Avenue 52, also seeing a collision here in the right lane. Sun Valley, some flooding on that 5 north at Lancashire. 3 right lanes are coned off there, and we're busy from at least Penrose. And somebody stalled out in Culver City. The 405 north as you get towards Jefferson. Looks like they're stuck in the right lane, leaving LAX a busy drive as far back as Century.
Warning, if you are 60 or older, RSV can be a dangerous respiratory virus.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. This message is brought to you by Pfizer.
Off clean feel, so I can accessorize with studs and not with mosquitoes. I can wear my classic white crop and flag panel jeans and know that I'm covered with 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers and Rams have something in common after week 2 of the NFL preseason. Both teams aren't sure if they have the right guy as a backup quarterback. In the Chargers' 5-point loss Sunday to New Orleans, Easton Stick played the entire game in place of Justin Herbert. He threw 2 interceptions and lost a fumble. Stetson Bennett got most of the snaps Saturday night against the Raiders in place of Matthew Stafford. Bennett threw an interception that was returned 50 yards for a touchdown. The Chargers and Rams have 2 more weeks of practice and 1 more exhibition game to figure out their backup situation. Lakers guard Austin Reeves scored 16 points off the bench Sunday to help USA Basketball beat Germany by 9. The U.S. team went 5-0 in FIBA World Cup exhibitions. First real game for the U.S. in the FIBA World Cup is Saturday versus New Zealand. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
Are you looking for a tax preparation firm that understands the unique financial challenges of African American business owners? Then look no more. Wealth Management Financial Advisors can prepare and file your individual and business taxes. They're committed to providing their clients with the best possible service. See how they make the greatest impact on your taxes. Find them at wealthmanagementlb.com or call them at 562-427-8877. That's 562-427-8877.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
I am Tavis Smiley, and our guest is Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. He is the pastor, the longtime pastor of Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas. We'll talk about that in a moment. But he's also the new president and CEO of the Rainbow Push Coalition, going back and forth between Dallas and Chicago. He is these days. We'll talk about that as well. But I'm delighted to have him live in studio with us today. We had a number of calls, but one caller called. I always laugh at callers who call. They won't, and I ain't mad at them.
Right.
They won't get their point across. They don't want to come on the air. I understand that.
Right.
It's okay. That's good. But somebody called and asked whether or not, as we were discussing moments ago, Obama not having any coattails politically. He didn't. Somebody asked whether or not Kamala Harris and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Biden and others in this iteration of the Democratic Party are the Obama coattails.
So there's a 4-year leap there.
Yeah.
That ignores that if there are coattails to Obama, it's Trump and Trumpism, which was the immediate reaction to the 8 years of Barack Obama. If you don't have, we had this discussion during the break, if we don't have 8 years of Barack Obama, even though there is an atmosphere, always an undercurrent, I should say, where Trumpism can rise, at the same time, Trump became a reality because it was a direct backlash to Barack Obama. I mean, or a blacklash, if you please.
That's right.
And so the blacklash to Barack Obama was Donald Trump. And so we had 4 years to regroup, as it were. And the regrouping didn't have anything to do with Barack Obama.
That's right.
It had everything to do with the fact that we did our groundwork.
Anybody but Trump.
Anybody but Trump.
We
came together and fought for that. And so Ketanji Brown Jackson and the Vice President, Madam Vice President, they are responses to the groundwork that was done that said anybody but Donald Trump. Again, I love Barack Obama. I voted for Barack Obama. Let's be real clear on that.
Yes.
But at the same time, let's be clear that Ketanji Brown Jackson and Vice President Kamala Harris, they were the result of the ground game of black folks saying, this is the least you can do for us because of all that we've done historically. And if you want to take a leap like that, that goes back to them 7 million voters that Jesse Jackson registered in 84 and 88. No one in the history of this country has been responsible for registering more voters than Reverend Jesse Jackson. And so that began in 84, 88. So if you want to credit anybody for Ketanji Brown Jackson and Vice President Harris, let's go back to Jackson. But again, the ground game of black folk after Trump that basically said, this is what we're going to do.
There are a number of articles, a number of books, all kinds of stuff being written now, given where he is in his life, about Jesse Jackson. Do you think once he's dead, God forbid, I mean, again, we all have to go that way.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it's going to take his dying for him to finally get the respect he deserves?
Let's be real. And your book, I'm just going to be honest. Your book about Martin King and his last year, which was so eye-opening, sadly so. Martin King was not popular even among black people.
That's right.
In his last year. If King had continued to live, his popularity continues to dwindle because we have not learned to measure our heroes and giants until, sadly, they have fallen. And so, unfortunately, I think that Jesse Jackson is going to fall prey to that. I was in a conversation with our brother, Michael Eric Dice, and he said, unfortunately, Jesse Jackson lived
too long.
too long.
Yeah.
And because he lived too long, we don't fully appreciate who he is, what he's done, and what he's accomplished. How sick is that, my brother?
There are some people, I'm sure, who are listening right now who are struck by that comment. But you and I know what we're saying here.
Yeah.
And it is true that you can live too long.
You can live too long.
King ends up being a martyr at 39.
Yeah.
Malcolm, a martyr at 39.
Yeah.
JFK.
46, yeah.
Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
So there are some ways in which you get lionized because you died so young.
Yeah.
But if you live long enough,
yeah.
people got to wrestle with your whole body of work. And if you live long enough, because you're human and not divine, you make mistakes.
Right.
And so the whole frame is different when you live into your 80s.
Say that.
Versus being killed at 39.
Say that.
Doesn't make the person at 39 better than you.
Right.
It's just they died early enough.
Right.
That we didn't have all that. Because I mean, Dr. King is my hero, as you know.
Without a question.
Dyson, to your point, and I say this all the time, he's the greatest American this country has ever produced. Period. You agree with Dyson and me on that. But, you know, after Dr. King's death, all kind of stuff comes out.
Yeah.
About the fact that he was a public servant.
Right.
And not a perfect servant.
Thank you.
Not unlike Jesse Jackson.
Thank you.
Jesse just lived longer.
Yeah.
But they're both public servants, not perfect servants. And so there is something that gets protected, if you will, if you die soon.
No question.
Young.
No question. And so Jesse has lived a long time. And again, his body of work. Now, if you want to get into the fact that he's imperfect, well, who among us is perfect?
That he without sin.
Come on.
Cast the first stone. Yeah.
But look at the body of his work, man. I'm reading a recent bio of his, and they're talking about what he did in Armenia and how he's revered in Africa. He took the civil rights movement global. And because he took it global, there is a certain moral appreciation and authority that he has perhaps in other parts of the globe that he does not have even in the black community in the United States of America. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think that sadly, we may miss out on fully appreciating him until we get to the funeral. God forbid. I don't want that to happen anytime soon, but you know how Negroes get at a funeral. At the funeral, Doc, all of the accolades and the laud and the plaudits will come out in a huge way, but it's like, where were you last week? Where were you last year when this man was still living, still impacting? You know, last week, he was in Chicago on a picket line with a group of hospital workers trying to ensure they got living wages. And because he stood with them, his moral presence caused those who were in power to say, we got to back off of this. That's not appreciated even right now. And the sad thing is, but let him pass away. And before you know it, what he did last week becomes, as you said, lionized. We can't wait until our heroes die, because the sad thing is other folk are killing them day by day.
You know this because you travel with him probably more than I have. I've done my share of traveling with him. You drop Jesse Jackson right now anywhere in Africa.
Come on, man.
And there's a parade.
Yes. Yes.
So again, you're the preacher, you're the prophet. But the Bible I read says a prophet is without honor
in his own land.
In his own land.
Come on.
So he doesn't get the respect here that he gets around the globe.
Yeah.
And so again, now that he's in his 80s and has Parkinson's, I think people are starting to again rethink his legacy, and that's a beautiful thing. When we come forward, I want to talk. My time is getting tight. We can do this for hours, man. I should have booked you for 2 hours and not just this 1 hour. When we come forward, though, I want to talk about your backstory. Dr. West and I were talking the other day, and I've known Freddie Haynes, my brother, for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And Dr. West clued me into something critical about your backstory.
Wow.
Like yesterday.
Wow.
That I did not know. I didn't know that part. And I was just sitting there like staring. I was like, are you serious, Dr. West? So if the audience doesn't know it, they're going to find out about it when we come forward with Dr. Frederick Haynes on Tavis, Smiley.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
MC Light, or AARP, hip-hop, the cultural phenomenon that took New York by storm in 1973, is celebrating 50 years of rocking mics and crowds. Whether you're a ride-or-die hip-hop head or simply curious about its origins, check out the latest issue of AARP the magazine. It celebrates this incredible milestone with a featured story brimming with fun hip-hop facts and history. Head over to aarp.org/Black Community to learn more.
Community is more than where you live. It's the people in it who go above and beyond to help it thrive. During the 50th anniversary of hip-hop and the 75th anniversary of Black radio, AARP recognizes the members, volunteers, people, and partners giving back to our communities. We believe when our efforts drive change for the greater good, we all thrive together. To learn more about how AARP supports efforts to keep our communities thriving, visit aarp.org/Black Community.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I was telling my friend Freddie Haynes he's in good company with those who didn't want to assume leadership. Moses didn't want to do it. Dr. King and Montgomery didn't want to do it.
Preach, man.
Jesus didn't want to go to the cross.
Ain't no way.
and you didn't want to lead the Rainbow Push Coalition. So you're in good company with Moses, Jesus, and Martin. You're in good company. I was saying earlier, and I'm watching my time, it's getting tight. So Dr. West and I were talking yesterday and a couple of days ago, and I told him you were coming on the program. He said, man, I love that Freddie. I love that Freddie Haynes. I love that brother Freddie Haynes, man. Yeah. He's announcing his candidacy this weekend in Mississippi. So it's,
awesome.
It's the official kickoff. His presidential campaign is this weekend in Mississippi. I got to pop down there to
That's powerful.
Interview him this weekend, I think, in Mississippi, my birth state. But he was telling me about your father.
Yeah.
Who... And if I'm too sensitive, tell me and I'll back up here.
No, we're good.
Yeah, but he told me your father, I knew your father was a preacher and your grandfather, you're from a line of preachers.
Right.
But your father actually died in the pulpit?
Yeah. He was, matter of fact, E.V. Hill was our guest preacher the fifth Sunday in August of 1975. And my dad was up introducing him. And in the process, he had a stroke of the brain and passed away. 3 days later... And that third day was my first day of high school. So my high school matriculation begins with the death of my dad, for whom I'm named. He's Frederick Douglass Haynes Jr. I'm Frederick Douglass Haynes III. And so his death was traumatizing. And at the same time, I say this with all due respect, it also set me free to be a man because I was broken by his death. But it released from within me this childish dependence on him because he was my hero. He was my icon. Yeah. I looked up to him. My life revolved around him. And then all of a sudden I had to depend on the same God he depended upon as opposed to him being my God who I depended upon. So it was a traumatic day, but I look back on it now, was also a liberating day.
What did that do to your faith? Here you are depending on your father.
Yeah.
You're from a line of preachers, and and God Almighty takes your father from you.
Yeah.
And you ain't started high school yet.
Right. And so what it did, on the one hand, it shattered it, because my whole belief system, I look back on it now, was in my dad and my dad's faith. So the God I had was both my dad, God with the small g, but it's through, and his God was my God through his prism. So I didn't have a personal relationship with God. I basically saw God through my dad's eyes, who was really my God. And then all of a sudden, my real God with a small g is dead at the age of 46. He's 46 years old, stroke of the brain. And it opened up my eyes to a whole lot that I didn't want to see. For example, God perhaps calling me to preach. And I was like, Whitney Houston, God bless you, hail to the no. I do not want to preach if this is where it's going to take me. I don't want to preach. I don't want to deal with black folk like this, especially black church folk. And I ran from it because I felt a sense of call about a year later. And I said, oh, no, God, we're gonna do something different.
One thing is for sure. I had the same experience. My mother, I'm a PK. My mother's a preacher.
That's right. She sure is. That's right.
Evangelist, yeah. And one thing I've learned, and you know well, you just made it clear, that no matter who you are connected to Jesus through, at some point, you got to have your own relationship.
Say that. Mama may have, Papa may have.
God bless the child.
Yes, sir.
That's God his own. Our remaining moments with Dr. Frederick Haynes when we come forward on Tavis, Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
What does access mean?
Access means owning a home. Access means growing my business.
Access means building generational wealth. No matter your goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Programs and initiatives provide the tools and resources to help you reach them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, life doesn't stop when cancer starts. After diagnosis, treatment is vital. But for some, just getting there, to appointments, chemo, or radiation, is a major challenge. You can change that. Volunteer to give rides with the American Cancer Society Road to Recovery program. Driving for a few hours of your day can make a life-saving difference for someone with cancer. Visit cancer.org/drive to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Our remaining moments now with Dr. Frederick Haynes, who's the new CEO and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition. So we got 4 minutes here, Dr. Haynes. I wish we had more time, brother. This has been rich. But so you've accepted now. So, you can't turn back now. What do you hope to accomplish at this stage of Rainbow Push Coalition's journey?
Well, what Jesse Jackson has outlined by way of a foundation, for me, provides the blueprint for us going forward. Number one, Rainbow Push is rooted in economic justice, the fight for economic justice. There is no Rainbow Push without thinking about breadbasket. Breadbasket, where there was a determination to have bread on every table. And so economically, when we think about where we are as a people right now, sadly, the wealth gap 10-1 between whites and blacks. 2053, it's projected that the net worth of black America will be at 0. The vision of Jesse Jackson is a blueprint to ensure that that does not take place. And so we will continue the fight for economic justice. We will continue to attack income inequality. We will continue to give a voice for those who are poor, those who are being held back by systems of injustice. We're going to fight poverty and not fight the poor. But not only that, educational justice. In this nation at this time, there is a determination to engage in what Jacob Carruthers called historicide, murdering the memory of this nation so that through the politics of gaslighting, lies can continue to lock us up since the truth sets us free. So we will continue what Jesse started way back then when he was going from school to school, not only firing up students, but also ensuring that resources were given to educational institutions where we were attending.
I am somebody.
He was doing that back then, Doc. And not only that, but we must engage now in the fight for environmental justice. Climate change is real. Here we are in L.A. Man, we had something crazy yesterday.
Yeah, man.
The vestiges of a hurricane and an earthquake took place. But here's the thing. Because of environmental racism, black and brown people, poor communities, catch hail first when it comes to the attack that comes from climate change. And so we're going to be on the front lines fighting against climate change.
And so the audience won't be mad at me. Just give me 30 seconds of that Keep On Flapping that you broke out at Rainbow Push.
Yeah, there was a bird named Hope that scientists tracked for a few years, and this bird was going from the north to the south, came into a hurricane, and scientists lost track of Hope, and yet Hope kept on flapping. And before they knew it, Hope had reached her destination in spite of the hurricane. And so I just learned sometimes even through a hurricane, you got to keep on flapping.
That's it. That thing will preach, man. As a matter of fact, it did preach. So if you didn't get nothing else out of this conversation, what Freddie Haynes and Tavis are telling you is just keep on flapping. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, keep on flapping. Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III is the new president and CEO of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and thankfully his church in Dallas knows they're not losing him.
Yeah.
So you're still doing Friendship West.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, first of all, beautiful facility.
Thank you.
And beautiful people. I've been honored to be there, as you know, a number of times. And I love the church, love the people, and I love you.
Thank you.
And ain't nothing you can do about it.
I love you, bro. Thank you.
Come see us again.
You keep on flapping.
Yeah, there you go. And you keep on flapping. Hour 2 of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Close to 850 people are believed to be missing in Lahaina. The number was recently believed to be as high as 2,000.